Welcome back friend, this is Ram here and it's 10th tutorial on JavaFX 8. In this tutorial we are going to continue with the last example, login form validation application, where we have created a user class. So let's go for a login form. I'm going to delete this. So again I will delete this. I'm going to add a password field for a login form. So let private static before final static string my password equals to new, assign a password in the string format. So I will say admin semicolon. Now boolean property to grant the access. So private final static string, here is the boolean property granted access. So it is granted underscore access equals to new simple boolean property. So simple boolean property and initial value let false. Then add attempts, so we can limit the attempts. So private final static in the integer format and add max attempts equals to, so let it be 3. Then add again attempts field, that is initialize the attempts of private with a boolean property private final integer property. So final integer property attempts equals to new simple integer property. So new simple integer property and initial value for attempts let be 0. Then now add import such that these errors will overcome. So fixed imports. So these two imports are added for the beans property, that is simple boolean property, simple integer property, boolean property. Then next, create a model representing a user. So first create a user. So user user equals to new user. Then let's add the layout. So before that, add a transparent stage. So we are going to make this layout transparent, so we are going to add we are going to create a transparent stage. So transparent stage. For that, we are going to initialize primary stage with the style. So in that stage, set style transparent. Then next, add the layout. So I'm going to use group root equals to new group, semicolon. Then add the scene. Here we are going to with this scene. Before that, fix the import for a group. Okay, now set the scene dimension. So I'm going with a 320 and let it be 112. Then set the color. So color dot RGB in the RGB format with the opacity. So RGB value for red 0, green 0, blue 0, and let opacity also 0 for full transparent stages. Then we are going to add the text borders SVG path. So before that, we are going to set a color field. We are going to set foreground color. Foreground equals to color dot in the format of RGB with the opacity. So we are going to set red 255, that is a full 255 and 0.9 opacity, semicolon. We are going to use this color in our component. So now next, we are going to create a rounded rectangle where we are going to add our components. So rectangular background. So for that, we are going to add rectangle. Let's say it is for the background equals to new rectangle. Let the dimensions of the rectangle is same as our scene dimension. So 320 by 112. Then width into height. Fix the input for a rectangle. Fix the JavaFX scene shape rectangle. Okay. Then set the properties of the rectangle. So first of all, background dot set x, start x value, let it 0. Then set, I'm going to copy this, set here y, let it be same 0. Now I'm going to add arc for a rounded rectangle. So set arc, first of all height, let it is 15. Then again add arc width, so I'm going to say 15 again. Then add a field for the rectangle. Something is wrong, so I'm going to fix that. Arc width, let it 15. Now again set the field for rectangle, so set set the field for rectangle, so set field, let we are going to use color dot RGB with the opacity, so let red value 0. And then green value 0, then zero with the opacity of 0.55. Then add the stroke width, so we are going to add a background color for the stroke. So by first background dot set stroke, so set stroke foreground, the color we have initialized. Then set the stroke width, so dot set stroke width, set stroke width, let it 1.5. Now next add the text field, so that will hold the username. So text field, sorry, read only field, read only field holding username. So username, that will be system username. We are going to read using user class. So text user name equals to new text. Now set the font for a text. Before that, import the text import. So add the import. Next, set the font. So username dot set font I'm going to add a font dot font in the string format. I am going to use sans serif font, then font weight, that is normal or bold, so I'm going to use a bold, so font weight is bold, and the font size, let it 30. Again fix the import for a font. Okay, so this is error because of the comma. Then add the field, so username dot set field, let it our declare color foreground. So next we are going to add the smooth property for a username, the text field. So username dot set smooth, so set smooth with the value true, then add text property such that it will display the text on a login form. So username dot text property dot bind the user name property, so bind so user dot user name property. Now next the error is due to this bind bidirectional, only the bind username dot text property bind username property, then wrap the these text into the horizontal box layout. So we are going to use 2 hbox for a 4 different fields. First we are going to add for a text node, so hbox username cell, so username cell equals to new hbox, then add the username cell to the primary stage, so username cell. Before that fix the import for hbox, so add user name cell to the hbox primary stage, so preferred we are going to prefer width property, so prefer width property dot, then we are going to bind with primary stage, so primary stage dot, now add width property, so add width property and subtract the username cell width, so we are going to subtract username cell, that is 45, So next, add this children username cell into the username, that is text. So we are going to add this username cell. So user name cell dot get this children element, so and add to the text, and the node is username. So this username is this, so we are going to add the username to the h box. So next, add a padlock, the icon of a lock. So we are going to add padlock icon. Next, we are going to use svg path padlock equals to new svg path semicolon, fix the import. Next, add field for padlock. So padlock dot set field foreground there. Next, padlock for add the content, that is icon content for a padlock. So we are going to add padlock dot set content. Now in the string format, I'm going to add lock icon content. So here is the same website we have referred in the previous tutorials. So copy these contents and paste in the string. So I am going to enter such that it will be visible to all of us. So if you want, I will again add the URL for this content. So you can go on this URL address and copy this icon content. Then next, add first row in the h box. So we are going to use h box layout for a row 1 equals to new h box. Then add the children element username cell. So we are going to add this h box in row 1. So row 1 dot get the children element dot add all elements are username cell. We are going to add this username cell and padlock. So first element is the username cell and the next is padlock. padlock, semicolon, close. Now we are going to add password field. So password field in our login form. So for that, password field, I'm going to say password field again equals to new password field, semicolon. Again import the import for password field. So next, set the font for a password field. So we are going to use this password field to set the font. So dot set font, say font dot font. We are going to add sans serif font with a font size of 20. So next, we are going to add some CSS style to the password field. So password field dot set style. So in the string format, add some fxml content or a CSS style. So first I'm going to add fx text field colon black, then semicolon, then again plus in the string format add fx prompt text field. So prompt text field, text field is say gray. Then again I'm going to add, say let fx highlight the text field. So highlight highlight text field colon and say color black. Then again I'm going to add one more style, say fx now highlight field. So highlight field with gray. Then I'm going to add the background color. So again in the string format fx background, then add color colon RGB, assign with let 255 comma 255 red, green, blue and with a opacity of 0.80. Close the bracket. Now give a semicolon here, 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 and done. So next we are going to add prefer width for a password field. So preferred width property dot, then add bind with say password primary stage, bind with the, we are going to add in this password field in the primary stage. So primary stage dot add the width property, so and subtract the width of the password field from primary stage. So subtract and the value, let it 55. And then we are going to add this password field in the user. We are going to set the user dot password field. So we are going to set password property dot bind and password field dot text property. So we are going to pass this password field to our user class. Now we are going to add error icon. So again error icon. So here we are going to use SVG path. So I am going to copy this all. So paste it here. I am going to give a name error icon. So denied icon. So denied icon. Then set the field. I'm going to set new field, like I'm going to set a color dot RGB with a red value 255. Then all we are going to make 0 with 0.9 opacity. Then I am going to add the contents. So in the string formats. So I am going to use the error icon. So here is the denied error icon. I am going to use this contents in the or set content format. Here I am going to change this with denied icon. So to make it visible, I am going to enter here. So give a semicolon and add stroke color. So denied icon dot set stroke. I'm going to use a color dot white. So next is visibility property. So again denied icon dot set visible false. So initially it will be false. When a user filled a correct password, it will be visible or true or false. So next we are going to add a granted icon. So I'm going to copy this all and add a granted icon. So I'm going to paste here and rename this with granted icon, and I'm going to use this to set the, so here I'm going to use green color. Then I'm going to replace this with the granted icon. So here is the granted icon. I'm going to use these contents and paste it here. So to make it visible, I'm going to enter it here. So next is replace this with granted icon. So next we are going to add these two icons, denied icon and granted icon, into a stack pane. So stack pane for access indicator equals to new stack pane, then add the children element into the stack pane. So I'm going to use this with dot get children element dot add all nodes like denied icon and granted icon. Denied icon and granted icon. Sorry, this one. Then semicolon. Next I'm going to set the alignment for these icons in the right side. So I'm going to use again access indicator dot set alignment with the position. I'm going to say center right. Then visibility, add a visibility property for granted icon if condition is true. So I'm going to add granted icon dot visible property. So I'm going to add visible property dot bind with the granted access. Next we are going to add password field and this access indicator to the next row in a horizontal box. So this is, we are going to add a row 2 or say second row. In the second row we are going to use a hbox to add the password field and access indicator. So row 2 equals to new hbox and add the children element to the hbox. So row 2 dot get children elements dot add all and that are password field small p and access indicator. Semicolon, then add horizontal grow for a access indicator. So if that is, if icon size of the granted icon or denied icon increases, it will increase horizontally. So we are going to add hbox dot set horizontal grow, add the node. I'm going to add access indicator. I'm going to set property always. Now the next is, we are going to add, when user enters the key, so it will grant the access or deny the access. So we are going to add when user hits enter key. So I'm going to add password field. Now we are going to add set on action method. So and for that we are going to use lambda expression here. And let if granted access dot get now next add I'm going to print the username on console balance. So system dot out dot printf so I'm going to use user %s is granted access, and for the backslash n. In the next line we are going to print username. So user, again dot get username property. So we are going to call username from user class. So user name property, and then semicolon. Then we are going to add password. So we are going to display the password on system console panel. So system, again out dot printf I'm going to use then same user %yes, entered the password, colon, we are going to say %s backslash n, and we are importing the password with username. So user dot get username comma user dot get password. So get password semicolon. Now next exit the if. So platform dot exit. So next is else. So if it's a denied, so we are going to add a denied icon dot set visible property true. If password is wrong, it will be going to denied, and we are going to set the denied icon. Next we are going to add attempts. So attempts dot set attempts and add we are going to add the attempts. Every time this will add one more attempt to the attempt field and get pass to the attempt. So next we are going to print the number of attempts. So system dot out dot println number of attempts. So colon means I'm going to add attempts. So attempts dot get semicolon. So next we are going to add a listener when the user types into the password field. So listener when user types in the password field. So to do that, we are going to use password field dot text property and add listener. So dot add listener, and in the listener we are going to add 3 variables: observable, overflow and null value. So the next, and it is with the lambda expression. And we are going to add a boolean variable granted equals to password field dot get the text dot equals to the, we are going to check with my password. So we are going to check with our password, and if the password is correct, we are going to grant the access. So granted underscore access dot set granted. Then we are going to add one more if loop. If it is not granted, if not granted is false. So we are going to add denied icon set visible. If granted is true, we are going to set visible false. Denied icon going to be false. Then we are going to add a number of attempts, listener for a number of attempts. So listener on number of attempts. So we are going to add a variable attempts dot add a listener, again add listener with the same 3 variables, and again we are going to use a lambda expression. If we are going to use, if there is a attempt, maximum attempts, so max attempts equals to the specified value. We have set the maximum attempts is 3, so we are going to use NV initial value. It will compare with the initial value, that is 3 maximum. If maximum attempts are 3, then it will be failed attempts. So we are going to print system dot out dot printf we're going to use a string user %s. It will print username. User is denied access \n. Then we are going to add user dot get username and exit the platform. So platform dot exit. Next we are going to add a one VBox that contained all the layouts. So VBox from layout equals to new VBox. So fix the import. Next we are going to use this to add children elements. So get children dot add all, and the elements are, we are going to add the row 1, 2 horizontal boxes for created, row 1 and row 2, semicolon. Then we are going to use to set layout. So set layout with respect to x is like 12, and again we are going to set layout y, say it is the same 12. Then add these all the layouts in the root. So root dot get children dot add all, and the elements are background, comma, form layout. So we have done with the program now. So in this layout we have added the two rows, this hbox row 1 and this hbox row 2. Then in the root element we have added the two box from form layout and background, that is rectangular background in the root element. So save this and run. Something is wrong, so I'm going to close this, and so here is the error, or we can say, so replace the padlock with a denied icon and save again and run. Hence it's done. So this is our login form with a validation. I'm going to so here we have created a rectangle of 320 by 112, and we have set the stage transparent, and the next we have used this text to display this text username, and subtracted the text area from the primary stage, that is 45. Then we have added a padlock here, then we have added the username cell and padlock in a first row. So this is the first row and this is the second row, and in the second row we have added a password field and denied icon and granted icon. So I am going to check the password. We have set the password admin. So if the password is correct, the granted icon appears, or if a password is wrong, I have printed something wrong password, if I enter, it will show denied icon, and on the output page it will print first attempt. So when I do the number of attempts, 3 number of attempts, it will close and print the user RAM is denied, that is my name, is denied access, number of attempts 3, and closes the window. I will run once again. This is the second row for a password field and icons, and the vertical box layout to grab all these elements in the rectangle. So this is the 10th tutorial. In the next tutorial we are going to see some menu items like check menu item, radio menu item, and thanks for watching this video. If you have any query or questions, ask me in a comment section, and see you in the next tutorial.